Hello everyone, I'm Yoo Li-an. Welcome to In the Newsroom, where we bring you the behind-the-scenes look on how we deliver the news to you. We are midway through a month of October, and it's been another busy week here in the newsroom with our reporters out in the field covering a wide range of stories. Well, first, our economics correspondent Hwang Sung-hee went out to cover the 4th Korea-Africa Forum, which invited more than 150 high-ranking officials from 16 African countries. And Yoo Li-an, she delved into a new obsession here in Korea, which has taken the form of a smartphone game called Anipang. And our Kim Hyun-bin took the camera all the way down south to Gwangju for a very special festival dedicated to kimchi, a quintessential traditional dish here in the nation. Where earlier in the day, I had a chance to talk to all 3 of them, and here's what they have to say. Let's go and meet them. Right, hello everyone. Hello. Right, the presidential race is just around the corner. I think we have about 2 months left until the big day. Is everyone excited?
I'm not sure if we should be excited yet or not, because it's going to be the biggest event that we're going to be covering for us.
Right. It will definitely keep you guys busy.
Yeah.
I think they'll learn a lot.
Oh, I'm
I
sure.
think it's going to be a very interesting process, but I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, this week alone, we've been covering a lot of stories related to the presidential race. Obviously, the campaign trail. There isn't much of a substance when it comes to the campaign pledge, a lot of the pundits say, but I mean, extremely an exciting race that's going on, 3-horse race, right?
Right.
And of course, we also had a lot of the packages coming in, filed from Osaka, Japan, from Kanyang.
I think I haven't seen her out in the field for over a year now. She's always been in the studio.
Right.
Yeah, I heard she has some difficulties with some technical issues, so hope that went well.
Oh, hopefully.
But I think her idea is really great that she's covering the overseas voting now, and the way she was talking about it, that the Korean government expanded it a lot and trying really hard to get overseas voters to vote.
Right.
But
This December's election is the very first time that the Koreans overseas are given the right to vote, and it must mean something for them. And obviously she's there to listen to their side of the story and the community, so we certainly look forward to seeing more stories from this time California, no?
Right. She'll be back next week?
Next week, yes. Right, and Hanul is filling in for her, so good luck for everybody. Back here in the nation, we had some very special guests who flew in from miles and miles away. Sung-hee, tell us.
Right. Nearly 200 officials from Africa came to Korea for boosting economic relations between Korea and Africa.
As the world looks to Africa as the last remaining growth engine, Africa is looking to Korea for development tips. This is the exchange that brought over 150 diplomats from around 40 African nations to Seoul for the 2012 Korea-Africa Economic Cooperation Conference on Tuesday. Following Tuesday's meeting, the participants adopted the KOAFEC Action Plan, which outlines plans for the Korean government to inject nearly $600 million to support growth and development in Africa. The visiting officials will be in town until Thursday, attending economic seminars, holding one-on-one business meetings, and touring the manufacturing sites of Korean companies. And by the end of their trip, they're hoping to have gained some insight into Korea's rapid economic growth, so they can also work a little bit of magic into their own developments when they return home. Hwang Sung-hee, Arirang News.
I remember back in 2009, I covered the 2nd Korea-Africa Forum, and I remember I sat down with chairperson of African Union. His name was John Ping.
Oh, you remember his name?
Yes, I do. It's a particular name. And he was extremely fond of Korea, and especially had a huge admiration for Korea's unprecedented and miraculous economic success.
Still, I think that was the issue at this year's meeting. They were talking about how Korea pulled off economic development in less than half a century. They're really keen to hear about it and keen to apply it to their own development model. So maybe, hopefully, they will also undergo such a rapid growth that Korea has shown.
So did the forum come up with any exciting initiatives or something that was noteworthy?
They did adopt an action plan, and this includes the Korean government's pledge to invest over nearly 600 million US dollars into development projects, including human resources, infrastructure, construction, green growth, a lot of things that Africa still needs help in.
Like food and energy
Right,
crisis
of
as well.
course.
I see. But the forum itself, I mean, I remember back in 2009, it was a huge event, and you just told me that 200 people were there from Africa?
Right, and 40 of them ministerial level positions, so very high-ranking officials are here.
A lot of the events that involves a lot of people and that much of a scale needs us to be there hours in advance. How did it go for you?
Well, we were expecting a lot of people to be there, so the forum itself, well, the first day was a ministerial level meeting, and it started at 9 o'clock. We were there at, I think, around 8 or 7:30, was it? We went very, very early. We were the first ones there.
네. 가야지. 빨리 가야지. 응. 이거? 응. 난 이만. 안녕하세요. 감사합니다.
KOAFEC Ministerial Conference.
Another open session is the press conference. Did you find the right spot to ask questions and?
Also, for the press conference, we went very, very early. I think we went like 2 hours before the press conference began. I sat in the front row, right, so I can make eye contact with all these 200 officials,
job.
right? And then I asked a question to the African Development Bank, because this guy was actually the person that I wanted to interview, but he was too busy for sitting down with me. So I asked him a question on why they were, what aspect of the Korean economy that they would like to really learn about.
앉아서 하시나요? 아니면 앉아서요? 다 앉아서 저기는 그러면 요거 여기 요거는 어쨌든 그냥 앉아 계시는 거죠.
아리랑과 아프리카 개발
Hi, my name is Hwang. I'm from Arirang TV. My question is for the AFDB president. There are so many other countries now that are showing rapid growth, for example, the BRICS nations. What is it about Korea that has distinguished itself from these countries to draw such attention in the African region?
The 60s to this point. From the viewpoint of a country with little endowments, but the outcome is that they're all members of the G20.
And then you had the chance to sit down with Kenyan minister.
Right. So the Kenyan minister was nice enough to spare 15 minutes of his time with me. He was new to the position. He was his first time being in Korea, first time at the meeting, but still he was very interested in learning about Korea and boosting economic ties with Korea. Well, one thing he mentioned was that he was excited to see direct flights from Korea to Kenya, which just started, I think, early this year. So that he said would boost trade between the two countries, and also he was looking for attracting more Korean businesses to Kenya's development projects. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great that the forum, which I covered back in 2009, has somehow continued to grow, and there's been a consistent effort to try to expand and try to seek ways to expand cooperation between the two sides. I mean, Africa is a huge continent. I mean, there's so much to gain from it, I'm sure.
How many were visiting then when you were covering it back in 2009? It was around 200 as well?
It was a similar
But
size.
apparently they say this year they saw the biggest participation, so maybe the forum or the meeting is expanding.
Yes, we hope that the forum certainly served as a catalyst between Korea and Africa to pull that bilateral relations a notch, and ultimately to mutual prosperity.
Right.
Yeah, let's close it at that then. And Li-an, I mean, wow, your story on a new obsession here in Korea was quite intriguing. Tell us more.
And we all know it's Anipang, and we all also know that we're all very obsessed with it at one point. I know you said that you quit the game a couple days ago.
Yeah, it took me 3 very painful weeks to call it quits. But
Oh, I should really get rid of mine.
I mean, it's a simple game, and it's a minute game. I don't know why it's causing so much hype in the nation.
Well, so basically, there's multiple aspects to that, of course, but it's the fact that, well, it's using the platform KakaoTalk, which is a social networking program.
Very popular here in Korea.
And with that, you compete with friends that you have on your friends list on Kakao, and then you get to see your ranking as real time. So that's like one of the main reasons why this is so popular. You get to compare your score to others.
It triggers competitiveness.
Right, and then so it's that kind of mentality that's like making a lot of people like wanting to play more and more. So basically that was it.
Walk the streets of Korea these days, and it's relatively common to see people staring deeply at their phones. Look closely and you'll find that many of them are doing the same thing. They're playing Anipang, a mobile phone game that has become a new obsession for Koreans.
Over 40% of Korea's population have downloaded this game onto their smartphone in less than 3 months since the game was launched. Now that's astounding even for one of the world's most wired countries like Korea.
Like any social trend, the game has permeated through to the daily lives of ordinary citizens. Like this child, for instance, who is singing a song about Anipang. And this man in his 30s who made an acoustic version of the game's theme song. Yoo Li-an, Arirang News.
I see. So you got to talk to people in the streets, in the subway.
Right.
How did you find it? What did they say?
It was really interesting. Actually, one of the girls that I asked her about this game, and I needed her to actually play the game so that we have footage for my news. She was like really, really good, and I forgot that I was actually interviewing her. I was like staring at her because she's like, "Oh, fun! Of course, it's easy." And then she was like making like combos. Am I sounding like an addict here? But yeah, she was making like multiple combos, and she told me herself that she's on her phone constantly all the time.
여기 있다. 애니팡 하시죠. 그래서 애니팡의 기획기술을 준비하고 있는데 애니팡 하는 모습만 좀 잠깐 찍어도 돼요? 그냥 얼굴 안 나와도 되고 뒤에서 너무 감사해요. 제가 자료 화면만 필요한 거라서. 랭킹 올라갔어.
So those are the people that you met randomly in the streets. So did you find it hard to talk to anybody, like stop them in the middle of nowhere and ask
a lot of
questions?
the older people, right? I don't know if they didn't want to admit that they were interested in the game. They didn't want to do the interview. They were like, yeah, I know about it, I've heard of it, but I would rather not. The younger people, more so, they were willing to do it.
애니팡 하고 있어. 애니팡 하고 있어. 손가락 모션.
안녕하세요. 저 아리랑 TV 기자인데요. 애니팡 혹시 하고 계신가요?
아니, 전 안 해요. 저희 안 하는데.
안 하세요, 아예? 안 하세요, 아예? 한마디 못 해주시나요? 지금 시간 안 되세요? 애니팡 혹시 하세요? 그거 막 지루할 때마다 항상 했었던 거죠? 그런 거 한마디만 혹시 인터뷰 가능할까요? 두 개만 할게요. 가능할까요? 감사합니다. 네. 왜 계속 이게 중독이 되게 빠른데 어떤 이유 때문에 계속 하게 되던가요?
친구들이 순위에 많이 하니까 경쟁심이 있는데.
알겠습니다. 거기까지 하면 될 것 같아요. 네네.
Well, it's always hard to approach people for interviews. I mean,
Right.
yeah. In the beginning, you struggle, I think.
Some are camera shy, some
Right.
have
I'm sure they all play the game.
Yeah,
My mom
sure.
plays the game.
Yeah. Grandmothers do, I mean.
So how pervasive has Anipang become here in the country? Do you have the figures?
Well, 40% of Korea's population have downloaded the game. That's only within 3 months since the launching, right? And I mean, all of Korea's population don't even own a smartphone. So, and then two out of 3 smartphone users have played this game. So that's just in numbers, shows you how much everyone has played this game so far. And money-wise, the company that made Anipang, which is called Sunday Toys, they're bringing in about $200 million every day. And this was a figure that I got a couple days ago, and I'm sure they're getting even more now. So.
I mean, well, right. Korea has been a video game obsessed country for years now, and neighborhoods are dotted with PC rooms. We see, but then with the rise of the smartphone, it seems that it's opening new avenues for game developers like himself. And I'm sure there's going to be more of these games down the road, and keep us updated on that. Right. I mean, autumn is in full swing. The air is crisp, I can see. It's a great time of the year for a lot of the festival organizers to invite people to take part. And you went to a Kimchi Festival.
I did. You girls love kimchi, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, well, the whole world loves to say kimchi. Okay, I see the faces. Okay, that's the theme of this year's festival, right? And I went there. I was in Gwangju. Most Westerners usually say cheese before taking a picture. But in Korea, they say kimchi. The national dish of spicy fermented vegetables is served with almost every meal in Korea. And in celebration of it, the 19th Gwangju International Kimchi Culture Festival opens Saturday in the southwestern city of Gwangju. The theme of this year's festival is, "The world loves to say kimchi." They had all kinds of kimchi. They even had a kimchi museum, and where they had innovations and fusion versions of kimchi. I actually have pictures here.
Oh, you do?
Let me see. Well,
That's the museum.
That's the museum.
Say
and,
kimchi.
Yeah, everything is red, white. Okay, and there's some innovations. This is a ginseng kimchi.
Quite a variety.
Oh, there is.
Did you
there
get
is.
to,
The interesting thing was there was a tomato and onion.
Did you get to taste them or?
No, this is in the museum. This is just for display. But there's open market outside where they sell. There's a whole line of open, stores where you could purchase kimchi, and they make it right before your eyes. So it's really fresh. And the thing about kimchi, they were saying, Cholla province kimchi has good soil or something like that, so they have more vitamins and stuff like that. I feel like a marketer for kimchi. Yeah.
So not only the locals, but also foreigners must have
Yeah, a
loved this.
lot of foreigners. Those busloads of foreigners is coming in. They had a kimchi making, section where you could you could make your own kimchi. All the foreigners were there. It's for a cheap price, and you could take the kimchi home. So everything they make, they take home. And they had a little race where they had all the foreigners race for making kimbap, kimchi, and other stuff, and they win a prize if you end in first. Or
Did you also have time to participate in any of the kimchi making?
Oh no, it looked like fun, but I was so busy just taking footage and everything.
What about tasting it? Did you
Tasting, of course. I was, you're supposed to buy. I did buy. I felt bad. I tasted so much, so I felt bad a little bit. So I purchased a couple of bags of kimchi and brought it back home. But it was really delicious. It was really good. It was the best kimchi.
You know that Kimchi Festival, Jinju, our presidential office correspondent, she also visited the Kimchi Festival like 3 years ago, I remember.
I see.
Oh,
So it's been
cover a
going on for
story?
a while.
Yeah, to cover the story.
Yeah, because this is the 19th Kimchi Festival.
19th?
It's the 19th, so. yeah,
Annually happening.
Yeah. But the thing is, like all the stores, all the kimchi tasted a little different. So, I mean, I picked the one I liked and brought it back home, but there's so many different kinds, so it kind of suits everyone's taste. If you could find one. Yeah.
I mean, kimchi is definitely a cornerstone of Korean cuisine, and it's also, you know, the guardian of our Korean health, isn't it? I mean, I read it everywhere, how it has so much vitamin and minerals and the certain bacteria that really promotes our metabolism and prevents cancer. So, I mean, I think we're in good hands with kimchi.
Definitely.
I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think you are one of the reporters in Arirang who went to most festivals that's taking place in the country.
Yeah, it's all during the weekend, so like I consider myself a weekend reporter sometimes because I'm everywhere.
I see.
But the good thing about it is I never got to travel around Korea before I became a reporter. But after I became a reporter, I go everywhere. So you know, I think that's definitely a plus for me, like getting to travel around all throughout the country.
Right. So, any more festivals that we should be keeping our eyes on?
Well, I'm looking into a couple, but I don't know if I'm going to go or not yet. But I'll let you know soon enough.
Oh, fabulous. Okay. Well, autumn is in full swing. Hopefully, we can spend a quality time with our families and checking out the fall foliage. And we'll see you back here next week. All right. Have a great day. Well, here in the nation, mountains and fields are changing colors with a perfect combination of red, yellow, orange, and brown. It's a perfect time of the year for a lot of us here in Korea to pack their lunches and rush to the nearby mountains and valleys to enjoy hiking and also the autumn colors for the day. For those determined leaf peepers out there, our Song Ji-san brings us this report from Mount Chiri.
I'm Arirang News Song Ji-san reporting from Mount Chiri or Jirisan in southern region of Korea. Now, as you can see behind me, the leaves here are turning yellow, gold, and red as we head into late autumn. Now, out of the 20 trails you can hike up Mount Chiri, this trail I've been climbing by the Piakol Valley is the best route if you want to take a look of the best autumn foliage that Mount Chiri has to offer. And if you want to catch the leaves before they all fall, make sure you visit it before November comes. As the National Park Rangers say, the foliage will peak by this weekend and the next. Song Ji-san, Arirang News.
시청자 여러분들께
아무 말도 안 해.